All right, let's try this. Hola again. We're still trying to add her on, so if you guys can be just a little patient with us, that would be awesome. This is my song, guys. So we're trying to get the speaker on. Her name is Rene. If we're not able, oh, the music is probably loud. Sorry, guys. I was saying we're trying to get the speaker on. Her name is Rene. If we're not able to get Rene on the live visually, then we'll have to resort to getting her on the phone, but we're still gonna go through with everything and hear what she has to say on the matter and on the theme, which is mama, I can't breathe. Okay, so if you guys can just be a little bit patient with me, that will be well appreciated. I just want to get her on here really quickly. Please, fingers crossed, everyone. Oh, is it connected? Yay! We did it! I'm so happy we were able to do it. Everyone, this is my cousin, Miss Rene Porter. Let me see some hearts for her, guys. How are you?
Oh man, we must be gonna have a really good conversation because the devil was fighting us tooth and nail.
That's what I was just saying. Everything that's good, he has to just stick his nose up in there, but that's okay. We're a bit used to it, and we're gonna keep it pushing.
Right.
So I just wanted to introduce you really quickly. I'm so happy that we're able to see you and not just hear you. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and give the people a little bio, uh, just so they can understand who you are and get to know you a little bit and know that you are family and feel welcomed. Okay. All right, so let's turn on the music a little bit just so everyone can hear me. If you guys can hear me, go ahead and place those hearts so we can make sure that everything is good. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, perfect. I see one heart, so that means that you guys can hear me. Okay, so Rene Joshua Porter is a woman of faith who has over 30 years of experience as an educator, a performer, a voiceover artist, and a playwright, and has appeared in national commercials, industrial films, and regional theater. In 2004, she founded the Burning Bush Family Foundation Incorporated, not-for-profit organization that implements multimedia programs to aid underserved families, ignite women, and redirect at-risk youth. A regular teaching artist for Alvin Ailey Dance Foundation, she uses her brand of educating to instruct youth on personal growth and development. Rene is the recipient of several community service awards and is a licensed New York State chaplain. A married woman, a married mother of 3 children, and currently hosts a web show, Working with What You Got. That's the name of the web show, which empowers audiences to unknot their mind. I love that. That's amazing. So let's welcome Renee. Woo! I just want to say personally before, because I'm a viewer. I want you to know this. I'm a fan of this platform. Anything that is positive, is spreading love and awareness and education. I'm a fan of it, so I can't wait to watch. But I do want to thank you for being a part of the platform and just coming and sharing your light and your insight on the matter. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm just trying to shift my camera so I can see you better. But can you see me
I
good?
can actually. I can see you perfectly.
Okay, good. All right, let's start talking, babe.
Let's do it.
I want to tell you people, your hair is fabulous.
Thank
I love it.
Thank you. I'm like, my goodness. I don't know if you guys can even like really see me because it's just like, oh, this way. But thank you so much.
I love
I
it.
appreciate
It's
it.
fabulous.
So
It's
I'm
gorgeous.
gonna take a back seat now. This is the Woman to Woman show hosted by Ambassador Brenda Barber. Some of you may know her by Bishop Brenda Barber. So are you ready for your audience? Because everything is set up, everything is done. You ready? Love you guys so much. See you in the comments.
Let's go to comment. Hi.
Woo!
Hi.
Bishop, I'm so
Oh,
glad
I
to see
love you,
you.
Mama. God is good. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I be wrestling with the enemy every time. But you know what? I am so happy because I always win. I always win
Amen.
at the end.
Amen.
And, I just give God thanks for that. I just want to, let me get my glasses. I just want to say to everyone, welcome, welcome to Woman Let's Talk show. I am excited to have my speaker, my guest speaker, because I'm saying, oh my goodness, we could always talk on the phone, but I want to see you. I want them to see how beautiful you are. So we
Oh,
give God thanks.
I'm
At the beginning, I always say the Serenity Prayer, right? So it goes
okay.
like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen, amen, amen. So we're gonna jump right
Amen.
in.
Amen.
Welcome everybody, welcome everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight we have a great topic. We know that a lot has been going on in our world, right? There's a lot going on. Before it was the COVID-19, everything else that's going, people losing their loved ones, people ending up in the hospital, and now we got another situation going on. But I feel that all this is happening and it may look bad, but all of it going to work together for good to them that love the Lord. So we are going to jump in. Welcome again, Renee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The team that I've
Thank
been,
you for
the
having me.
team that I've been moving with or going by is Mama, Mama, I Can't Breathe. So this is one of the last word that our brother George Floyd said before he transitioned. And, he was in a very terrible situation when he called out for his mother. So we're going to go right into our question. And my first question to you, Rene, is what thoughts came to your heart and mind when you heard that phrase, "Mama, mama, I can't breathe"? What thoughts came to your heart and to your mind when you heard that?
A lot. A lot came to my mind. First of all, I want to say I could not watch the video. I can't watch anything that graphic. I think that it is one of the tactics that the enemy uses to keep fear before our eyes. So I think we have to be very mindful of guarding our gates and what we watch and what we listen to.
Right.
So when I heard that, what I thought about was it was a final cry for rescue, a cry to a trusted ally. But I also felt because his mom had already passed, it was a cry for mom, come take me. It's too overwhelming. It's too much. It's too much oppression. Don't leave me here with this. I don't want to even go on without you. Come get me.
Wow.
Come get me.
Wow.
That's what because I don't feel he was calling his mother because he thought his mother was around.
Wow.
I felt it was like, Mom, I want to be where you are. I want to be where you are.
Getting ready to go, so come get me. Come get me.
Yeah, the evil is too much. The adversary is too much. Come, just take me. Take me, please.
Right.
So, but another thing though, if I may, that I kind of connected with, when we think of COVID has to do with the respiratory system.
Go ahead.
Right? And it has to do with the respiratory system becoming impacted and people can't breathe.
Right.
So we have this thing of people can't breathe through COVID. Then we have George Floyd talking about he can't breathe. So one of the things when I was praying and I was thinking about it, because the enemy is the prince of the air, he's trying to choke and stifle people. He's trying to keep the breath of God out of us. He's trying to rob us of that breath that God is always breathing into us.
Wow.
Think about that.
And you see it through the disease, through the oppression that happened to him, that's happened to so many of our Black men, our Black women too.
Yes.
So he's trying to choke us because that's his aim. His aim is to kill, right? His aim is to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
So I don't see the George Floyd situation as isolated from the pandemic. I see it connected. I see COVID and not being able to breathe when you're hit with that COVID-19. Yes, I see it connected. It's still, and it's trying to choke our life out of us. It's trying to choke, especially because Satan is the prince of the air. The enemy is the prince of the air. So just like he was trying to interfere with us getting on the air today. He don't have no new tricks.
No.
Right?
No.
So for me, it was on many levels.
Yeah.
It was, he's trying to stifle the air out of us. He's trying to stifle the breath of God out of us. And it's also George crying out, Mom, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
He was saying the cry that so many men have felt. It's too much. It's overwhelming.
Yes.
Please take me. Mom, help me.
Yes. I totally agree. When he was saying, I can't breathe, this is how many of our young men are feeling. This is how the men, even women now, this is how the Black people are feeling.
Yes.
And even those that is not Black, but they are also oppressed. This is how they are feeling, like you're at a place where now you can't breathe. This is becoming overwhelming now. You understand? So yes, the COVID, and now with this is just revelation. Revelation just unfolding itself to let us know exactly what is happening. And I do agree with you as far as when you say that you don't usually watch these things. You don't look at it. You don't try to, you don't try to see it or anything. That's me. But this time I had to watch because I have a big son. I'm black, he's black. And at one point, he started to get, when he started to see these injustice and stuff, it's like he started to feel he can't take anymore. He can't breathe. So as a mother, when I got the video, I said, I got to look at it. I got to watch it because I need to understand what my son is feeling. What is it he's going through? Not only my son, my nephews, my cousins, what is it that these guys are really experiencing? So I got the courage and I looked at it, Rene, right? I'm telling you what I felt. Like I said last week to my guest speaker, I said to her, what I felt that happened to my body as I was watching that, it was something that I cannot describe to anybody. I cried so much that, I mean, when I'm telling you loud, I couldn't help it. Usually, you just kind of weep a little bit. But I started to, I mean, with a loud voice, I started to just woo. I mean, to a point where I got to a place that I couldn't breathe. And that's why I said, oh, that's it. Because with me crying and going like that, eventually I started to feel like I'm choking, like I can't breathe. Now, you said something about the pain that he was going through while he's reaching out to his mother, right? Get me out of this. Just go ahead and take me. It's the pain that the people are feeling. He was just showing us what is really happening. He was just saying, he said, I'm hurting. I can't breathe. I'm hurting. Then he said, everything hurts. So he was being put to a place where I feel now that he was used. He was used because as you see everything unfold, he was used for a greater purpose than himself. Because of him.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I saw a little clip of his daughter. I think she's 5 years old. Bernice King actually posted it.
Okay.
Martin Luther King's daughter.
Oh,
and
wow.
She was really identifying with, because she was around the same age when her father was killed.
Right, I heard.
And she saw his daughter say, yeah, his daughter said, wow, daddy has changed the world.
Yes.
So here is his 5-year-old daughter recognizing that as graphic and horrendous as her father's death was,
yes,
it has caused a revolution.
Yeah.
It has caused a revolution. And that's, to me, it's just the sovereignness of God, where he will, like you said at the beginning of the program, all things are going to work together for good.
Yeah.
For those that love the Lord.
Right.
Right? He's going to take that horrible mess that we needed to have on full display so that it can finally come to a boiling point.
Yes.
Now, back to something that you mentioned, and I think that was an awesome point that you brought up, about how overwhelming it was for you and you couldn't breathe. What I found is, this is just a personal opinion, I believe that there's so many layers to the forces that we deal with, because we hear that we wrestle not against flesh and blood,
yes,
but against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Right.
And because we wrestle with so many different levels, it reminds me of back in slavery, when a slave would run away or try to get free.
Yeah.
They would bring him back to the plantation and they would kill him or, whip him or do something to him. Yeah, but they would bring the other slaves around to watch what had been done to that slave that tried to get away, because they wanted to embed fear in him. They wanted to embed a hopelessness inside of them. So for me, I think it's so important that we be selective about what we watch, because they want to embed this fear in us, like we are hunted prey, that we can't see our way out, that we're not succeeding, that we're not moving forward.
Yeah.
So we can be informed, We can be informed. It's important to be informed and it's important to be aware.
Right.
But we have to be selective because it's the same plot, just a different era.
Right. And I could understand clearly why you say that, but the reason why this thing is all over the world is because people watched it. You see,
Yes, absolutely.
back in the day, in times when there were no cell phone, you know, social media in the magnitude that it is today, they got away with a lot of stuff because nobody was
And you're
watching.
right.
They would just go ahead and say
Yeah.
that he was reaching, or you know, he resisted, you know, he had this in his
Mm-hmm.
car, you know, we found the other in his car. You understand? He had a knife. But you see, they can't say that
Yes.
today because the people, and yes, I know about guarding your eye gates, your ear gates, and your nose gate, and all these gates. But what happened right now? We gotta watch because you know what I feel, my sister. I feel that all those that died when we wasn't watching, all that is about to change because now we are watching. Now, my son, Rene, he prophesied all of this on Instagram before. He prophesied if we don't get help, if the ones that you know, the artists and the stars and all of you, if you guys don't come out, you are gonna force us to go out there, and then there's not gonna be not it's not gonna be nice because he already started to see that the people are boiling over. It was getting really bad. You understand? So I heart about protecting because you have to protect your heart. But when you have young people that gotta go out there, you gotta be informed. You gotta watch. You gotta know exactly what is coming against them. What is it? In order to understand them, you gotta watch. Just in order, you are not watching. But you see, you gotta be in a certain place to be able to watch. Because after you watch it and you see it, you cannot undo it. You cannot undo what you saw. You understand? So, you know, I think it's time for us to watch. Me personally believe that it's time because all these things are not anything new. This has been happening. But because we weren't in the position to see it, now we see it and we feel it. But now because we see it and we feel it, we are now want to do something about it because that could be, God forbid, my son, my nephew, my cousin, my whoever. So no, I got to put a stop to this. I have to have a voice. And this is what this platform is about. And I'm thanking God because He allowing me to do something. You can imagine if I didn't have this platform, how I would be feeling after I saw this and I have my guys them out there. You understand? So, you know, but I appreciate what you're saying. So we're gonna go to the next question, and then I want to ask the viewers that if you have any comments, I'm thinking about, you know, giving a phone number so they could probably call and hear what they have to say as well. So I'm gonna ask Latifa, go ahead and put my number up. And if you have a comment and you want to come in and you have something, because your voice is appreciated. Your voice, you have to, women, we gotta let our voice be heard. And if we have this platform that we can do that, then, you know, be welcome to do that. So I'm going to go into my next question. And the next question is, as mothers or even as a woman, should we be more reactive or responsive when addressing the enemies attacking our children and loved ones? How should we react as mothers? How you feel that we should react as mothers?
I think that reactive is the behavior after an event, and responsive is a positive reaction, right?
Yes.
I think as mothers and or even as women of God, that maybe they're not a mother, but so many of us are mothers, even if you've never given birth, we just are nurturers. I believe that we're supposed to be proactive
Okay.
rather than being reactive,
Mm-hmm.
and rather than being responsive, proactive.
Okay.
Proactive is we're always on the lookout.
Yeah.
We're looking for the enemy before he attacks. We're studying a situation before it happens. And I believe that we have to become almost students of our children, meaning we're always studying them. We're studying their strengths, we're studying their weaknesses, we're studying their shortcomings, we're studying them. And as we study them, then hopefully those areas that need support, those areas that are weaker, we can fortify them in that area so that the enemy doesn't have an entryway into that area. I think a lot of times we're very reactionary. As women, sometimes we can be reactionary. Something happens and we react, we cry, we get upset, we yell, or, we're emotional. And I think it's very important, especially as women of God, that we be less emotional and more spirit filled.
Right.
The emotion, the emotion is natural, right? Because it's okay. God gave us emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we can't be emotionally led. We got to be spirit led.
Right.
It's like when you go out to war, the colonel is not going to he takes a whole troop with him. He can't make a real decisive and definitive war move if he's emotional. He has to sit, he has to strategize, he has to look at how the enemy operates beforehand, he has to look at who he has working with him, and then he can strategize. And that's how I believe that we have to operate as women of God. We have to be more proactive and watch and learn and look and pray, be vigilant, be sober, and always be discerning and not emotional. And that's something that I find for myself I've been trying to work on as I mature.
Right.
Less emotional and more proactive.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Because I could relate to what you're saying. That's what I do. That's what I do with my children. Whether when I say my children, that it could be my sons, my nephews, because I have some spiritual children as well out there, and that's what I do. I study. I start to evaluate everything in my mind according to what they are saying, how they are feeling, and that's the reason why I watch the video, because I was able to detect like this one here is going to push him over the edge, because I've been talking, I've been hearing, I've been watching. You understand what I'm saying? But then this one here, for some reason, when you're dealing with God, in communication with God, wisdom is knowing when to and when not to. That's what wisdom is. Knowing when to and when not to. And you see this one here was, I had to do it. This was I had to do
I
it.
do,
Mm-hmm.
and I do believe it's on an individual basis. I do, because I have two sons. So definitely, and 23 and 17, they are on the pulse of this. They watch it constantly. Then I also have a son that's very interested in law enforcement too. So as a Black man and also interested in law enforcement, there's a lot of conflicting feelings that he has. So I'm constantly talking to them. I'm constantly listening.
Right.
I'm listening. And I just believe for myself, I think everyone knows what they need to navigate through.
Exactly.
Exactly what you said, wisdom, when to and when not to.
Right.
And if I know it's going to be something that's going to pull me into an emotional state that I can't make a sound, wise, proactive,
Right.
then I have to choose another course.
Right. Thank you for saying that, because I also believe that that's an individual choice, because you know the way you may raise your sons, deal with your son individually, that they have different personalities. So we mothers have to know our children personalities, I have Tifa, I have Aime, I have my nephews, I have all of them. No, I am not going to deal with this one the way I deal with the other one. What I may expose to this one, I
That's
know
right.
I
That's
can't
right.
expose it to this one because this one gonna react. You understand? But if I go to the one that's more, calmer, I would trust saying certain things. So I believe as mothers, like you said, we have to study our children. We have to know where they stand, how much
Mm-hmm.
they can take, how much they cannot take, how much you can push them. Some of and some of them are grown men. We still call it, our babies and stuff, but like my firstborn, he's grown. You understand? But so what happened when they reach certain age, you have to know when to back up. You see, you have to know when it's time for you to back up and then turn everything over to God. And while you turn it over to God, God would say, okay, move now. Don't move right here. Okay, say now. Don't say right now. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a constant communication with God, you and that child. Because you have to hear from God. Then when God said whatever he said, then you deal with the child. But if we try to do it on our own, then we're gonna mess it up. So I'm so with you. So analyze your children individually. You understand? So that you will know which child you can do what with and which child you cannot. That don't work with this child, but this work with that child. You understand? So I knew that
Absolutely. Yes.
at the time, I knew that this video here, because I don't usually try to watch them because I can't take it. But this one here, I know that I had to watch that. So I don't know if we got any viewers. What are they saying, Tifa? They have any questions?
Ida Williams says, for me, it's very difficult to behave because I have to deal with coworkers that think it's not a
I
big
can't hear.
deal.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You guys could hear her? Let me read what she said.
Okay.
Say it again, please.
Yahida Williams. She said, "For me, it's very difficult because I have to deal with coworkers that thinks it's not a big deal, and I have to hold my tongue because I need my job." So
Stop right there. I like
Mm.
that because, yeah, you heard what she said? She had, Jahida Williams is
Yes, I did.
saying that for her, she has to hold her tongue because some co-workers feel that this is not a big deal. They don't understand what's the big fuss. What do you do? And she says she have to hold her tongue because I know who it is. She's a nurse, and she has a family, and you don't want to lose your job because those kind of feedback make you feel like you want to, react, like you said.
Yeah. I think that timing is everything. And when I'm in situations like that, I always pray and ask God to give me the timing to say something.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to, like the kids say, take a L for the team when it happens in that situation.
okay.
But, right? Am I using the right slang,
You
Tifa?
got it. You got it.
But then God will make it where maybe that coworker that was in a group, you get to see them by the bathroom,
Mm,
or you get to see them in the parking lot, or you get to see them over by the cooler.
gotcha.
And then you can bring it up. Mary, when you said so and so, can you explain what you mean by that?
Yes.
You know, and always, and one of the things they'll teach you in college, you start with a positive, you say you're concerned, and you end with a positive. So you might start with, Mary, you have such strong opinions. I love how bold you are with your opinions. You're so confident when you say things. You know, when you mentioned that thing about George Floyd, it didn't sit well with me. I was a little unsure about what you were saying. I don't know if you realize I was really hurt by that. Can you explain what it is that you meant by that? Because I know you wouldn't want to say anything to hurt me.
I
So, right? So I
love it.
started with the positive.
Love it.
I started with the positive. I said the fact that it was, and now I ended with a positive too. because I know you wouldn't want to hurt me, Mary. Now, Mary might be a witch. Mary might be a nasty person, but I've now sandwiched it so now we can have a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We can have a discussion because it says, with all our getting, get understanding.
Yeah.
Well, I want understanding, but I also want to be comfortable at my job too. And every day is a school day. Every day is a day where I can be teachable and I can always teach.
Yeah.
The Bible talks about being apt to teach.
Yeah.
And we can do it in a way where and that's where we have to be again, as women of God, we have to be sound and not emotional.
Right.
And I mean, I had to grow into that because I was very emotional.
Right.
So as time goes on and through different severed relationships, you learn and you pray about it, pray about all things. God, give me an opportunity to say something in regards to that,
Right.
so that my job is served, but that she can know what happened. So then God will show you how to say it and the timing to say it. But to remain silent, I don't think he wants you silent.
No.
I don't think this is the hour. This is not the hour for the people of God to be silent.
No.
This is the hour for our voices to be heard.
Thank you.
But he needs us to use
Thank
wisdom,
you.
and he needs us to be led by the Spirit and when to say it. But it's not the hour to be silent.
This is not the time for that.
No.
This is not the time for
No.
that. So Latifa has someone said.
So Jaime,
Come on, more. Come on.
yeah, sorry. So Jaime, my brother, my handsome
That's my
brother.
son. Let me hear
That's
what
my
my son have to
brother.
say. Oh boy.
Well, when you guys, when Cousin Renee was speaking on the fact that this isn't something that's new, right? Because you said that he's been trying to eliminate our breath, and you correlated the connection between the coronavirus attacking your breathing and also the police brutality attacking breathing. Jaime said, yes, that's a connection that I did not make. Wow. So I do believe that a lot of people didn't think about that. So I just wanted to mention that really quickly.
Isn't that awesome? Because yeah, that connection right there, that's awesome. That when I say awesome, meaning that yeah, it's the same thing in a different way, because it is attacking mostly black people, or African American, or Hispanic American, African, or just brown people, So yes,
Mhm.
yes, that makes a lot of sense. Any more comments?
But I want to. Okay.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say that people are just mostly agreeing at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to just share something that I thought about when I was thinking about the correlation um, with Corona
Yeah.
and George Floyd. There's a scripture that said, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my
Turn
face,
from their
then I
wicked
would
ways.
turn
Yeah.
from their wicked ways. I'll hear from heaven and I'll heal their land.
Right.
And in prayer, one of the things that I believe is that when Corona hit, it paralyzed the world, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the world.
Yeah.
It was a global pandemic.
Right.
And that global pandemic came, and we heard a lot of theories.
Right.
We heard it's the 5G tower.
Yeah.
We heard that it was made in the lab. We heard, there's so many theories that we got swamped with, inundated with, on why Corona, right? Whether it's man-made, whether it's this, whatever. And in prayer, I really believe that God was showing that there was a reason why the enemy was allowed to come in and wreak the havoc. When you look at the book of Joshua, it talks about Achan, and Achan had the accursed thing in the camp.
Yeah.
And the accursed thing in the camp caused Joshua to lose the battle. Right?
Go ahead.
And I believe that we were all thinking about Corona, how Corona came in the camp. And when we saw George Floyd, we realized that was the cursed thing that was in the camp. The racism that's in America, the hatred, the evil. It allowed this ambush of our breaths to be taken away. You follow where I'm going with that?
I'm following you.
I really believe that it was almost the mercy of God that showed, let me show you why this global pandemic. Let me show you why your breath is being taken away. Let me show you what you're doing wrong, people, America, that's causing this. Let me show you, because he hates injustice. God hates injustice. He hates oppression. You know what I mean? He loves, true religion is taking care of the widow and orphan, right? He hates injustice. And I believe, like going back to that video, it became visible so we could see the cursed thing that's in the land. We could see the thing that was causing us to lose the battle. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just really believe that it needed to happen so we could see what was wrong and causing all of the calamity that was hitting all of us.
Well, very good, very good. I do believe, personally, I do believe that anything that happened is not a coincidence. I believe
Right.
that God allows, a lot of times he allowed things to happen, right? So that, he can then come in and turn it around.
Yes.
You understand? So
Yes.
he allowed, listen, I feel we all were born for a reason and a purpose. We are not just here by accident, okay? We are purpose-filled people. We don't activate that at times, but we were all born
Right.
for a reason and a purpose. You understand? So anything that God allowed to happen is for a reason and a purpose. And at the end, I'm going to have Latifa read some stuff. I saw an evangelist today. She posted, and I stole it from her. And we're gonna get to that part, because it's a reason. When the things start to get too bad, then that's when we get to a place where, okay, we can't take this no more. We can't do this no more. Then that's when God has to step in and say, okay, give me some space. Because even the planet, even the earth was getting so polluted, was being destroyed. The waters, everything, the pollution that was in the water, everything that we eat, the ground, the vegetables, pesticides, and it was just getting like really, really bad. So everything we needed a timeout. Everything had to come to a standstill. You see? So, what happened?
We have a question.
We have a question.
Hyman asks, do you guys think that we can achieve the dream that Dr. King had, or should we seek a form of separation? For example, only Black officers policing our neighborhoods.
Okay, you want me to answer, or you want to answer that?
You can answer, and I'll chime in, but you can answer.
Read it again. Read that question again.
Do y'all think that we can achieve the dream that Dr. King had, or should we seek a form of separation?
Stop there. Stop there. Do we think that we can achieve the dream that Dr. King had? I think we are on our way. I think that we are on our way to achieve that. I don't think that a separation is necessary in that manner, because when I look at the news and I see the whole world, I see white, I see Black, I see children, whether white or Black children, and something is happening. There's a change. That these younger people, I see white parents bringing their children and teaching them with the signs, because racism is, you don't born with being racist. That's something that is being taught. So if they can teach them now that they are young, little kids start to turn, I feel there got to be a change. It has to be a turnaround, and start to teach them that all of us, we are all equal. You understand? Then yes, I'm still hopeful. I don't feel that there should be a separation. You see? And I personally said that when I come on here, I want to publicly thank my white brothers and sisters that is standing up for justice. That's a brave thing to do. We got to give, you know what happened to us? Sometimes we don't want to give credit where credit is due, and we got to give credit. This thing is everywhere. Sometimes in some of the countries that they show, it's mainly more white people that thing, and they're beating them just like they would beat the black people. Because why? Because they're standing up for the right thing. So we have to also, acknowledge what they are doing as well, right?
Um, I do agree. I do agree. I stand on Romans 5:5. Hope does not disappoint, right?
Okay.
Hope does not disappoint. So I stay hopeful. I do believe in the other part of Jaime's question about Black police policing our area. I do think there needs to be a reform in the
Yeah.
sensitivity training
Yeah.
that's given to officers. And I do think that it is helpful when you have people who understand the community policing their community. But I do think that you can have that type of customized policing. So you have Hispanic cops in Hispanic areas and Spanish cop, Black cops in Black areas and, so forth. I think that that would be helpful. But we also have to acknowledge that a lot of times there may be abuse that happens from a Black cop to another Black person. So something happens sometimes with that badge and that gun where it becomes the standard of how they operate. So I think sensitivity training for all
Yeah.
police
Yeah.
would need to happen. So the power is not
Yeah.
abused. And I do believe that God's desire is that we would love our neighbor as ourselves.
Together,
Any
one love.
form or idea that, yeah, yeah. So my mind is always going to go back to this is my thought, but I'm going to match it up next to the word, right? So Rene can have an opinion, but if Rene's opinion is not in sync with the word, then Rene's opinion is wrong.
Okay.
That's my plumb line. So
Okay.
I have opinions, but I match it up to the word. So the word says that on these two things, love the Lord God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. He
Right.
didn't say love your neighbor that looks like you, love your neighbor that comes from the same country as you. He didn't say love your neighbor that has the same skin color. He says love your neighbor as yourself. So that doesn't mean separate. That means that we're supposed to love
Unite.
everybody.
Right. I
That
mean,
because that's what he said.
if
That's what
that,
he said.
right, if that is possible, then I would go for that. I would prefer to go for that. That we all work together for good, We all come together
Yeah.
for good. Um, while you were talking, I wrote this down because if it's for the Black cops to police our Black neighborhoods and not, just Black cops, you just said it. Even the Black cops are, maybe they are being overworked, too many hours, they have stress, they don't have place where they can go and talk about what they need to talk about. They probably, some of them having problems at home, whatever is going on. And when they come out to the streets, I'm talking even Black cops, when they come out, they're getting ready to take it out on the public. So you see, they need also to be put in a place where they can also, talk about what they are going on. I don't know what they have set up for them, but I know a lot of them are under a lot of pressure because it wasn't a white cop that beat those two, chased those two college kids. It was two Black cops got fired. You understand? And they did really wrong to those kids. You see? So something was going on in his head that made him do that. Or
Right.
made both of them do that. So we're
Right.
gonna go to the next question. Okay, how do we train our children to handle injustice and inequity? What? Inequity?
Iniquity.
Inequality. Inequality. How do we train our children to handle injustice and inequality?
Well, I think that it is important to show them that you're supposed to speak up, just like we were talking about the woman at her job. I think it's important to speak up. I think the protests that are taking place are wonderful. I think it's wonderful that the protests are taking place. I think it's wonderful for them to start seeing advocacy. But one of the main things that I think in how we teach them to handle injustice is they watch us. They watch what we do. They model what we do. So we have to be very careful in how we handle it. If we're vengeful, and it's on a micro aggression level.
Right.
For instance, if we're vengeful with a sibling, if we're vengeful with a neighbor, if we're vengeful with the cashier that's rude to us in ShopRite, we're showing them how to handle nasty people. We're showing them by how we retaliate. If we curse back at them, if we yell at them, if we are vindictive, we're showing our children how to handle injustice by our behavior. But if we're thoughtful and we're strategic and we're wise, we're modeling to them even beyond what we say. My daughter said something a long time ago, and I just thought it was so profound. She said, "Gone are the days of do as I say and not as I do." She says, because we're watching everything you do and we're listening to everything you say, and we're going to call you out on it. And I thought that was a beautiful thing. It was a panel that we had that she said that. And it's so true. So I think we show them how to handle injustice by our behavior. And how even we talk about somebody that we don't like. Say we don't like everybody, and not everybody likes us. Do we wait till that person leaves the room and then we say to our child, "Oh my God, she gets on my nerves," or "They were so evil," and we backbite? We're showing them now how to treat people. The other way I believe that we show them is, I believe that we start to put the word in their heart from the time that they're young. This is what God says: "Fret not yourself over evildoers." God said, "Vengeance is mine." God says that if he be for you, who can be against you? God says no weapon formed is going to prosper. So you start taking those words, and just like how they have physical tattoos, you let that word get tattooed in their heart. Not saying that they're always going to agree. They'll be like, "Oh, please," like I would do to my mother when I was young. "Oh, whatever, whatever. Yes, yes, okay, okay, okay." Rude, disrespectful, rebellious, but the word never returns void. It never returns void. So I think they handle injustice, one, by how we model it. They handle injustice by showing them what God says about it. We also they learn how to handle injustice by educating them and showing them what injustice looks like.
Right.
Getting their opinion. "Hey, you see what happened with Native Americans? What do you think about that? Do you think that was right?" They have to be able to identify what injustice is. Because truth be told, even going back to those police officers, there's a lot of damaged people in the world, Bishop, right? You know, so many people are damaged. And when you come from damage, sometimes you don't even know what abuse is.
Yeah.
You don't even realize what abuse is. You don't realize what it means when people are taking advantage.
Yes.
Because you come from a dysfunctional
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So you have to show them.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you have to show them this is what respect looks like.
Yes.
This is what honorable looks like. This is what you have to start debunking some of the things that they've seen growing up, right? You have to own, like, for instance, there's times I said to my kids, I said, "You know what? You may not have always seen me be respectful, and you know what? That was wrong. That was wrong. I shouldn't have spoke to you like that, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have said that." So I'll show them what injustice looks like, show them what disrespect looks like, and then now let them learn a new pattern of behavior. And then also the final thing is they learn to stand up for injustice by developing their self-esteem. Self-esteem is so important. It's so important. Because when you know you have value, you won't tolerate certain things. Self-esteem is really important. We have to really work on our children's self-esteem. You know, constantly. Milani, my daughter's name is Milani, you know that. And she'll make a joke. She'll say, "You mommy, you're always saying that stuff about me, good things about me, because you're my mom. You have to say it." That's what she'll say. I said, "No, I'm not a liar. I say good things about you because I'm not a liar, and it's all truth." Right?
Yeah.
It's truth that you're wonderful.
Yeah.
It's truth that you're beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have to work on their self-esteem.
Right.
And then with that self-esteem, they'll be able to identify injustice and stand up to injustice.
Yes, 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 yes. I feel, like the Bible said, train a child in the way he should go, and when he gets, he will not depart from it. I believe in all of that. I said last week in while I was speaking that sometimes what happens, you try to teach your child, to have values, to love, not to disrespect, don't do this, certain things. But when they start to grow, they will start to meet with people that don't have those type of values. They
Yes,
like
that's the
now,
truth.
a lot of them probably was taught by their parents that the cops are in authority, and you got to submit to what they're doing or what they're saying to you. And then they go out there and find out that they're doing everything that mom taught me, but they're still getting hit across the head, and they don't understand why. If this is what was taught to me, I'm doing this, so why am I up in here with that happening to me? You
Yeah.
understand? So we still, even though that happened, we still got to teach them the right way. I did it. I'm pretty sure
Yes.
that you did it. But my son said to me, he said, "Ma," sometime he would say, "Ma, that's not what's happening out here. You taught us this and you taught us that, but that's not what's happening out here." So I feel even,
And he's right.
yeah,
He's right.
yeah, and they get frustrated because they are
It
facing
is
something
frustrating.
else
Yeah.
that is going on. So I feel that even with the death of the people that got killed by the hands of these cops, and injustice was done to them, I feel like people are talking more now. People are really saying
Yes.
how they feel. People are really, trying to work on this. I'm watching the news and this person is saying, "I'm going to change this. I'm going to start teaching my kids." They have a white lady, she came on. She said, "I didn't understand. I didn't understand that this is what they've been going through. She said, but I watched the video, and that's why, guys, some of them don't watch." That's why I said sometimes, yes, it's okay to cover, your eyes gates and all this stuff, and guard your heart. But sometimes when you face the thing, when you see it, like you said, this is not a time to be silent. And I feel what's motivating people a lot not to be silent is because of what they saw on that video. I'm not saying the rest of people didn't go through, but you see, this video here, it did something to me. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not able to watch it again, but I'm glad that I did watch it because now I understand my children. Like I said, whether it's my nephews, my sons, my cousins, my whoever, I know I get it. I mean, I already thought about it, but it did something to me, and I'm not gonna be silent. You understand? Because you know God don't like ugly. Okay? He's a God of just. You understand? So if we see something that is not right, we need to talk about it. And as mothers, women, because like I said last week, mothers is not just someone that gave birth from their womb to a child. You're a mother if you have a niece, if you have a nephew, if you have the neighbor friend. Females, we have to have a voice. When this segment is finished, I'm gonna stay in touch with you because I'm getting something in my spirit that we women has to do something. And I'm waiting. I don't like to go before God. I like to wait for God. But I already know that in my spirit I'm feeling, you know that thing. You start to feel something is coming. I gotta do something, but I'm waiting. And whenever we can all come together as women and try to talk it out. But I feel that as women, something we gotta do. But let me just say
Yes.
hello to some of the viewers because I want them to feel like they are part of this, like it's not just two women here just talking back and forth, but I want to thank them for logging on. I want to thank each and every one of them. Let me go from the top. As I go, I'm going to, talk some more. I see Angela Rosario. Thank you for logging in. I see Giselle Knight, um, Francine Clark, Cynthia Matthias, Elder Nadine Foster. Welcome, 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 Jaime. I see Mario Lewis is watching. Janet Charles. Um, I see Jahida Williams. Uh, Fred Arias. Delia Thorne. I see Bishop Estella Knight, Annette Cumberbatch, Deborah Blackman. Welcome, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Althea Davis, Oscar Yamilet Murillo Asprilla. Thank you. Rosa Espada. Thank you for tuning in. Patsy Devorah, Karen Coleman, Junior Beckles. And as I go, guys, don't feel left out. Please don't feel left out. I'm going to go Cookie Brown, Hard Tackle. As I go, I would come back in and say hi to everybody else. Kurt Jr., Carol Demetrius, Carrie Ann Lawson, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Feel welcome to comment. Come on, we love you. We appreciate you. Feel welcome to comment. If you put the number up, if you want to call in, the number is 305-335-2867. If you want to be part of this, you want to have a voice and you feel like you want to call in and say something, feel free to call that number. So we are going good. Thank you, Rene. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is awesome. This is something that I'm really enjoying, So thank you so much. Okay. Injustice, we see it everywhere. We hear it everywhere. What as women is our posture towards injustice? I think we kind of covered that.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear
Okay.
the question.
It
You broke
says
up.
injustice, we see it everywhere. We hear it everywhere. What as women of God, is our posture towards injustice? We kind of covered some of that.
We covered that. Yeah. We
But,
covered it. We covered it. Yeah, well, like we said before, our posture is we love what God loves, we hate what God hates, right?
yeah,
And we can't be silent and we have to move. We have to do something.
right. Um, okay, what do we do when God didn't answer and it looks like the enemy has won? What do we do when God don't answer? We praying for this child, we trying to cover this child, we talk to this child, but then they go out there and they're still doing what they want to do, and there's nothing. Listen, one thing I realized, and I had to learn it the hard way. When you have your kids and they are little, you take them by the hand and they do what you say. But once they turn 18, 21, and those numbers start to go up, we can't do that anymore. We have to now allow them to walk their walk, of course, with us still talking, but we cannot control them once they leave our home. Once they leave our home, they have a mind of their own. We just have to pray and hope that everything that I taught you, that somehow it would come back when you are out there. So what do we do when God didn't answer and it looks like the enemy, because some people may have a child and it just don't seem like anything is happening towards change?
What I have found for me is I have great support in other women. And I have found that it's been very helpful to team with women that have gone through it already. I'm always looking for the champions, the women who've dealt with the difficult child, the rebellious child, the prayers that seem to be deferred. Those are the ones that I latch on to and I see that they still have hope. There's a woman at our church, an elderly white lady. Her name is Jo Carase. I love her. When she opens her mouth is so filled with wisdom. One time I remember we were in a ministry together and I just said to her, I said, Sister Carase, I just feel like we're always fighting for our family. It just seems like when you feel like you just one battle you're fighting for, and then another battle comes, and then another battle comes. I said, it just feels like, oh my gosh. And that day I said it to her, and she looked at me with her sweet little voice. She said, it is a fight, and you're never gonna stop fighting. And that's what we're built to do. We fight for our family. We fight for our children. We fight for our husbands. That's the war that we're in. And we never stop. Renee, I have had family die of cancer. I buried my sister, my mother, and she started grandkids, and she started telling me all the different she had. As she was speaking, you know what I saw? Like the colonel in the army that has all these badges of all the commendations.
Yes.
It was like she just became this decorated soldier.
Yes.
So that's what I found. I found that for women, and it goes to the scripture, the older ones teach the younger ones.
Yeah.
The older ones teach the younger ones. You can become so fortified and you can be so encouraged when you team arm in arm with another champion woman. That's why you have to be select with your circle. I don't need for both of us to sit there licking our wounds, talking about how bad our kids are and what a mess things are. No. It's okay to vent, because it's okay to vent with no judgment. But I want you, Bishop, to say, all right, Renee, come on, pull your boots up by the straps. Let's go. Let me lick my wounds for a little bit. And then after that, get back out there.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. This is why it goes back to, when God gives you a vision, it's for a reason and a purpose. This is what this woman to woman platform is about. Because most of the time, as women, you feel like you can't say exactly how you feel. You feel like you're just gonna die in your depression. You feel like you said earlier, teach them to have to bring up their low self-esteem, that they don't be living in low self-esteem and stuff like that. And this is why this is created, because when you are able, my sister, when you are able to speak about something that kept you depressed, let me tell you, after a while, the enemy don't have nothing over you, because that is no secret anymore. I am free because I already let it out. You understand?
Yes.
So you gotta be able
You're right.
yes. That's why sometimes I said, Lord, but would you have me to do this? And have these people telling their business so no. Wisdom. It's wisdom. There have people that not able, but if I come on and I'm with you and we strong, I already passed that. I already know what that is. I already recovered from that. So now by hearing me talk, it gives the other person, or hearing you talk, it gives the other person the courage to free themselves, so they can look back at the enemy and say, you know what? It's not a secret no more. I'm not trapped. But we don't want to talk because we don't want people to know our weaknesses. So what happened? We are free, we are safe, but we are not delivered. And that's
Right.
the problem. We are saved, but we are not delivered. And if we're not careful, we will go straight to our grave with not being delivered, saved but not delivered. You understand?
You know, today I was outside. That's a beautiful thing you just said.
Yes, God.
Beautiful. I
Yes, God.
totally
Yes,
agree.
God.
Today I was outside and I was cutting bushes. I have my property that I'm on, I have a lot of
Yeah.
trees. And some of these trees are like 100 years old. So when I'm looking at the tree, I'm just like, oh my gosh, where do I start? So I'm starting with the branches. And some of the branches are intertwined and I'm chopping them and trying to break it to decrease the bush.
Right.
And my clippers got stuck
Hmm.
in like a high thing. It was stuck. And I'm out there and I'm pulling, and it's stuck. And something dropped in my spirit. I said, you know what? I would rather be wrong. I would rather fail. I would rather be wrong and to fail than to be stuck.
Woo, come, put it. Give me your hand. Come on. Yes.
I'd rather be wrong.
Yes.
I'd rather fail. I'd rather be embarrassed
Yes.
than to be stuck. And the
Don't get
thing
me
about it
started
is,
now. You going right up in my area right there. Don't get me started. I'm gonna start getting up and doing a praise dance right now. Get me
I
started.
don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck. And I was doing the branches and I said, Lord, if we could just get the mindset that I will not be stuck. I won't be stuck. I might look stupid. I might fail while I'm trying, right? I might be frustrated, but I will not. I might even make the wrong move, right?
Yes.
I may make the wrong move. And that's okay.
Yes.
But I don't want to be stuck.
No.
Don't want to be
No.
stuck. I don't want to be
No.
stuck.
No.
And I think that's the thing. So when you hook up with a champion, another woman that's gone through,
Mm.
another woman that's come out on the other
Mm.
side, it says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Right.
That testimony, that other woman, and you know what I'll do sometimes? There was a woman that used to be at our church. I loved her. And she would give all these wonderful testimonies about her kids and life or whatever. And I would get in my car and I would say her name was.
What? I don't know. You're frozen. You got freezed up. Uh-oh. Yes, yes, but while she try to come back in with us, guys, please, any questions? If I see if anybody have any questions or anything, I don't know. My sister got stuck there.
Let me see.
It's frozen.
Yes. Yahida asked a
She got
question.
something. She went out. Maybe you gotta invite her back in.
Okay, I'll invite her back in. Yahida asked a question. Protest and anger. Where do we go from here? I feel like I myself may need counseling. I could only imagine the families directly affected.
Jahida, you are not the first person that I heard saying that. That is so true because I heard that. I believe someone asked that question as well. I think I saw it on the news. Where do we go from here? Now, realize that my guest speaker was just saying, if you have, because it's not everybody that is able to pay to go and get counseling. You're back. It's not every read the question so Sister Rene would know.
After all this protest and anger, where do we go from here? I feel like I myself may need counseling. I can only imagine the families directly affected.
Exactly. Imagine the families,
I think.
but go ahead. You kind of blurry. I
No,
don't know.
I was just. Yeah, you're a little blurry too. I think it's just
Oh,
It's
Facebook.
the connection.
Can you hear
okay.
me? Can,
Okay, go ahead.
can you hear me?
We
Yeah, I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. Yeah.
You can. Okay. So, in the second part of that question, I want to answer first. I think that therapy is good, and it's a stigma that still exists in our community where we don't pay as much attention to our mental health as we
Yeah.
do to our hair and our nails and all the
Yeah.
other aesthetics, you
Yeah.
know? So I
Yeah.
think that therapy is good because guess what? This is traumatic. It's traumatic on
Yes, it
so many
is.
levels, and we need to deal with that trauma. And what do we
Yes.
do after the protesting and all the anger? We have to have a strategy for advocacy. We have to start to make a whole different legislation. We have to start infiltrating the government with how we pursue career wise, start grooming our kids to go into the law, groom our kids to go into law enforcement, groom our kids into being public service, start voting. We have to know that we have a voice and use the power of that voice. You know, we have to be, we can use it. There's ways to be involved with change, even if you're not into politics. We use
Mm-hmm.
the arts. Say with my organization, we can use the arts to affect change. Tifa, with her spoken word, she uses the art to affect change. So I think it's very important that the emotions that we feel are real. The trauma that we feel is real. We need to get help for that trauma. In addition, we have to go about reform, legislation reform, political
Yes.
reform,
Yes.
behavior reform among
Yeah.
ourselves, right? A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
reform. That's what I really think.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Um, yeah, I agree with that because that's the way I feel about that. And also, Jahida, I feel that because Jahida Williams asked that question, and I feel that what you could also add to that, like my guest speaker was saying, if you get together with someone that is stronger than you, mentally, spiritually, and stuff like that, that is also something that you could try, because a lot of times when you meet with someone that is strong with you in certain areas, they are able to give you a better insight as to give you example what they did, or what you can do. Maybe you try this, maybe try that. Or sometimes, Sister Renee, sometimes people just want to talk.
Yes, you're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
people, Jahida, you have my number, and a lot of times when this shuts down, people inbox me and then they call, and that's my time that I take to minister. No, no, I'm in my Bible. I'm in prayer. We talk, we talk, and it don't just end there. If they need more talking, then we talk, and I show them. I go into different scripture. You understand? So, Jahida, I am here. If you would like to talk about what you're feeling, God is there. I don't. Greater is He that is in me than he that's in the world. So, we are just vessels of God that He uses us for His good. So I'm here whenever you feel like you need to talk. I'm here, okay?
And one thing
All
also too,
right.
Bishop,
Yes.
I would like to offer a resource that my organization, the Burning Bush, that we're developing. We're developing a directory of brown and black therapists that people can, that are for our community. So they get therapists and counselors that truly understand that our situations are different. We're dealing with some different
It's
demons.
true.
We're dealing,
It's true.
yes, we're
It's
creating
true.
this directory, and I'll offer that resource if anyone wants to tap into it.
Can you type it in, or they could get in touch? Is there a way they could get in touch with you where they can call, or
Absolutely.
somehow?
Well, the Burning Bush Family Foundation, we have a Facebook page, so they can reach out to me on our page. It's Burning Bush Family Foundation. So they can inbox me on there and we'll respond. Our
You
email is
see,
also
you see
on there.
what I, you see what I said about we have to speak up. We have to talk. We can't keep. Thank you so much, Ahida. Thank you so much, because this here confirm exactly what we were talking. Don't keep it in. Some people don't
Mhm.
want to say what she said because it's like, oh, you weak. No, no, you strong because you
Yeah,
said where do I go from here? I'm affected by this. Where do I go from here? And if a lot more of us would do that, it would be better, and we would be more happier people. But I feel that we are getting to a place where even as women, build each other's up. Let's start building each other's up. You understand? So, that's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are coming. I don't know what time it is. I don't like to overwhelm the viewers, but I want to thank each and every one that took the opportunity to be live here with us, from your busy schedule. What time is it? I'm always checking on the time,
It's 10:05.
It's 10:05. But I just want to thank everyone. I'm telling you, you are awesome, because even when there are difficulties and we're having a hard time connecting, they always come back. They always come back. So people are thirsty. People want to hear, okay, what is my next move? What can I do? On this platform, Sister Rene, what I do, I try to leave it at a certain place where it's not intimidating even for the non-Christians believers, because none of us should do. I pull back some. And so that those people can feel welcome as well, because I feel sometimes if we try to catch the fish out in the sea and we try to clean it and cook it right there, no, we catch it, we bring it in, we clean it, we cook it, and then we eat it. Wisdom. Yeah, we just try to, on this platform, we don't know who's on. We don't know who is on and who needs what. You understand? So my number, they have my Facebook messenger. They call me there, and we take it from there. Okay. So we're getting ready to.
No, I just said thank you so much for the invitation and for having me.
Oh, don't think this is the last time I'm gonna beat you. We got a lot of topics that's coming up. What I want to do, that I'm getting in my spirit to do, I'm getting in my young people to do exactly what you said, Jahida, for the young people to express and say how they're feeling, what are their thoughts on everything from the COVID to now the police brutality and blacks and whites and everything that's going on in the world right now. So it's gonna be hosted by my dear beloved Latifa, and we're gonna get a guest speaker. So to see we have to let the young people speak, because we need to know what's going on with them inside, and they're not just moving on like everything is okay, because there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of, okay, what's going to happen with me now? The young people, how is our world? How am I going to fit into this world? I have so much dreams and aspiration and all this stuff. How am I going to fit in with everything that is happening? So we're going to give them a platform to come on and speak. And I don't know, depending on how it goes, then I will probably do it twice, at least twice, and give them that opportunity to do so. I want to announce, take this time to announce that tomorrow, even though I'm going to post it tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to do a Spanish speaking segment tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We're going to do, I want to know how my Latin brothers and sisters are feeling, I'm going to start doing that, because I'm getting what you would say, like, they're saying to me, we don't understand. We want to support you, but we don't know what you guys talking about. You understand? So
Yeah.
we are coming up. When I do woman to woman on Monday, I will do the Spanish segment on Tuesday, but early, like 6 o'clock, 6 to 7. Then I will do the Spanish segment on six o'clock to 7, because I have great speaker. The one that's coming on tomorrow, of course, from Panama, and then I have another speaker the following week from Panama, the Tuesday as well. So it's getting, I don't know what God is doing, but something is happening, and we're going to give him glory from now. You know, he's awesome. So we're getting ready to wrap this up. And like I said today,
Right.
I stole a little post that I saw. Someone posted. I can never pronounce her name, but nevertheless, okay, I can't pronounce her name. So I'm gonna just say evangelist. Somebody put up her name, because I know you know who I'm talking about. And she posted something that really touched me, and it gives like hope. You find it?
Yeah.
Read it. Tifa's gonna read it for you guys.
All right, everyone, I'm back. That was great. I'm so happy to hear your opinion, and I feel like you made a lot of great points. So I thought when my mom showed me this, I thought that it was really interesting as well. So it says, what has protesting accomplished within 10 days of sustained
Evangelist Jennifer.
So what has protesting accomplished within 10 days of sustained protests? So Minneapolis bans use of chokeholds. Charges are upgraded against officers, and his accomplices are arrested and charged. Dallas adopts a duty to intervene. Rule that requires officers to stop other cops who are engaging in inappropriate use of force. So that is something that a lot of people's arguments argue against, which is there's no good cops, because if you were a good cop, you would stop another cop from doing injustice things. So that's something that eliminates that factor. New General says the state will update its use of force guidelines for the first time in 2 decades. In Maryland, a work group of state lawmakers announced a police reform work group. Los Angeles City Council introduces motion to reduce LAPD's 1.8 billion operating budget. MBTA in Boston agrees to stop using public buses to transport police officers to protest. Police brutality captured on cameras leads to near immediate suspension and firing of officers in several cities. Monuments celebrating Confederates are removed in cities in Virginia, Alabama, and other states. Long overdue.
Okay, they said that we are breaking up, so we're gonna have to repost that we are reading, because for some reason they say.
Are we still breaking up?
Go ahead.
Okay.
We're gonna repost it. Tell Jahida, yes, we're gonna repost
We'll
it.
repost it, Yahida. Street in front of the White House is now renamed to Black Lives Matter. Military forces begin to withdraw from DC. And guys, to be honest, as you can see, the list goes, oh, you can't really see, but the list goes on and on and on with several things concerning the law, concerning emotion, and also the world. Protesters from all over the world. We have Europe protesting, Mexico, Canada, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand. You know that all of the states in America are protesting as well. And like I said, the list goes on and on. So, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing to watch as well, to see that we are able to come together as in unity.
Okay, I want you to Jennifer. You go ahead, try go. You do.
Jennifer Thomas says that the
Oh, you don't
evangelist.
want to go? No, you cheated.
We're trying to, because just so you know, we're trying to pronounce the evangelist's last name, but her name is Evangelist Jennifer Boateng. I know I butchered it, but we just wanted to, give you the credit and thank you for posting that because it definitely was influential.
Bishop Mother said, Bootang.
Bootang. Okay, Bootang. All right.
Oh my goodness. I am just loving it. I like having her with me on this because it's fun, you know. I know when she start back getting busy, I'm not going to be able to get all of this, but for now, I'm enjoying, just trying to make her be part of this with me because I think it's good when you have, your young people. I don't like to say kids because she looks young, but she's 28, you know? And so I like to have her participate in certain things. But nevertheless, I want to thank you so much, Renee. It was
Thank
fun. I
you.
hope that you enjoyed.
Yes,
On,
absolutely.
huh? And you got a lot of
Absolutely.
love. I mean, they are really responding to you, So
Oh, I
I
can't
just
even see the
want to,
comments. I hope I get to see it.
huh? What happened?
I said I can't see the comments.
Oh yeah. They are really into what's going on, what is being said here. So it makes us feel good that you are able to communicate. You see, communicate. So this is awesome. Thank you again. Someone said to me that don't do the Spanish segment. You see, that's what I'm telling you. It's hard because somebody's saying don't do the Spanish segment separate. I must do the Spanish and the English together. But I think that's not gonna get it, guys. Because switching back and forth, you may miss out something that you said, and then you jump into the English and you didn't get to answer what something in Spanish. And so I prefer to just keep it separate. And for the English speaking persons, they may not want to deal with that back and forth Spanish and English. So I think I'm gonna keep you guys separate. Spanish, English. Okay, so nevertheless, I'm gonna just give God thanks for you. I'm gonna pray for you before we say good night. I just want to give God thanks for you, Sister Renee. I know we
Oh,
know each other's for years and years and years, but we haven't seen each other's at least 20 years.
at least,
At
At
least.
least, at
at least.
least. But I'm telling you, I never do anything unless God tell me to do it. I fear God. I don't go before him. So in everything that I do, I acknowledge him. So this is why I'm trying to say that this is why you are here. You understand? You are here because I saw you in I saw you. And I asked Tifa, what about cousin Renee? Can you get in touch with cousin Renee? You know? And that's the reason why you're here. So I thank you for your obedience, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and ask if anyone have any last comment. Huh? Do you have any last comment, Sister Renee? Any last comment?
No, just that I love you and I thank you.
Oh, thank you. I love you back. I love you back. This is awesome. Father, in the name of Jesus, I come before you. I present your daughter before you, Father God. Lord, I thank you for allowing her to be here with us today. I pray, Lord, that you will continue to bless her, Lord, from the crown of her head to the sole of her feet. Continue to grant her dreams and vision. I pray that you'll bless the fruits of her womb. They shall not die, but they shall live to declare your glory. I pray, Lord, that you'll open up your gates of heaven and pour her out a blessing where she has no room to put it. And I pray, God, that as she leaves, Father God, that she would also take us with her and keep us all in prayer. I thank you for allowing her to be here. I thank you for all of the viewers that took the time out to be with us tonight. I bless Jesus, and I pray that your basket would be filled. And I pray that whatever anxiety, whatever insecurity, whatever is going on with you at this moment, the viewers, I also pray that the matter would be made plain for you. Guidance and protection. In Jesus' name, I give thanks. Amen. Amen. Let the
Amen.
word of my mouth and the very meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Amen. Woo!
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Bless God. Everybody have a good night. Have a good night. I love you with the love of God. Sister Rene, we will be talking. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless.